The place had a high-level security check-in like an American airport, body scanners and metal detectors and the x-ray machines that can see inside your purses, backpacks, and belongings. That would be pretty intense at almost any other church. But at Basilica La Sagrada Familia, the famous Barcelona church designed by Antoni Gaudi, and by the way, still in the process of being built as it has been for the last 135 years, the security made sense. It's a wildly popular tourist attraction that draws people from all over the globe. And this attraction did not disappoint. Holy cow, one of the most stunning buildings I have ever been in by far. Just breathtaking, the way the light plays with the stained glass, the way it exaggerates the soaring architecture, and the way it brings the religious imagery to life. It's dazzling inside. But this story that I want to share begins earlier, on the subway ride from our hotel in Barcelona to breakfast. Megan, the girls, and I were all standing in the train, holding the handrail. We looked like American tourists, I'm sure. We were cheerful on a morning train. That was the first giveaway. I was in full dad mode, wearing fresh white tennis shoes and a backpack. That's another clear giveaway. We've traveled a lot and feel pretty worldly, but we were probably oozing goofy American spring break family because, well, honestly, that's what we were. And then the man behind me started speaking to me sternly in Espanol or Catalan. I'm not sure really what it was, but it spooked us a bit. Honestly, a lot of encounters with strangers on public transportation can be a little fear-inducing. Most people keep their heads down. Most people keep to themselves. A stranger in a strange land speaking a strange language to us on a crowded underground train. Our hackles were raised. But as it turns out, this guy was just trying to warn me. Once we broke through the broken mistranslations and stumbling dialogue, it was clear that he was trying to just help me. He was telling me to remove my phone from my back pocket. Barcelona is known as a city teeming with pickpockets. Most tourists know this, and they're hyper cautious. I guess I was just a little naive. Anyway, I moved my phone to a safer place. We thanked the kind local Spanish stranger, and we headed off on our day a little more careful and a little more on edge than we had started it. All right, now we're back in the security line at La Sagrada Familia. My family had all cleared through the metal detector, the body scanner, and they had grabbed their purses and bags that had been x-rayed. I was the last one through. As I cleared the body scanner, I reached back into the x-ray machine to grab my backpack and wallet and phone. And at that moment, fear made its presence known again. The woman behind me in line, another American, saw me reach in and grab something from the security screening conveyor belt. And she screamed, "That man just took something from my purse. That's mine. He took it." She was shouting at the security guards and the local police. She was accusing me of being a pickpocket. Now, I hope you won't be surprised that I was not actually stealing her stuff. Her little x-ray machine tray hadn't come out yet. I am innocent. And maybe it was the soaring, inspiring, gorgeous religious architecture of the building that compelled me at that moment. I'm not sure, but I immediately felt deep empathy for this woman. I calmly smiled and tried to diffuse the situation. I showed her my hands and gently let her know that she was safe. Her face was beet red. She was in full fight or flight mode. The security guards seemed nonplussed, like frightened Americans were a mild, typical, annoying daily hindrance for them. The woman realized she was safe and all was well, and we were all released into the sanctuary. Fear can ruin even the most sacred moments. And I hope it didn't ruin that lady's visit to this holy place, but I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure she spent the rest of the day and maybe the rest of her trip to Spain suspicious of everyone she encountered. Americans are taught to be afraid of faraway places, and then we're told about pickpockets and scary criminals, and then we find ourselves on a dream vacation walking around in utter fear, clutching our bags and constantly checking our pockets and our children. Fear can ruin even the most sacred moments. And I get it. We're taught to be fearful. We're trained to not get kidnapped and not take strangers' candy or whatever, and to be hyper cautious in big cities and small alleys. But most of the time we're safe. And most of the time, a sacred moment is available to us if we'll only let our guard down a little. There's this story in the Gospel of Mark about some of Jesus' disciples on a boat with him. This big storm starts to howl and blow and flood the boat. Jesus is calm as a cucumber. He's literally cashed out, napping back in the stern of the boat. He's completely relaxed, zero stress. The disciples are freaking out. They wake up Jesus screaming and panicking, saying, "Do you not even care if we drown?" Jesus wakes up, probably rolls his eyes, and speaks gentle, confident words that calm the storm. He says, "Quiet, be still." If you read different translations of that passage, Mark 4:39, you start to wonder if it's a story about Jesus calming the storm in the atmosphere, the weather, or maybe if it's Jesus transforming the storm of fear in the hearts of the disciples into a sense of calmness and peace. Either way, he releases the fear from the moment. He helps everyone get centered and then challenges the disciples, asking, "Why are you so afraid? Have you no faith?" Fear can ruin even the most sacred moments. In that little story, Jesus teaches that the opposite of fear is faith. What a profound lesson. Faithful people are not fearful people. Listen, there are things to be afraid of out there. Many of us have been hurt and carry fears that are forged from too much scar tissue. I get it. I am not going to claim that I'm unafraid, nor am I going to suggest that you should never be afraid. But fear is one of the biggest obstacles to that heaven on earth idea that Jesus taught that we're supposed to build. Fear is the storm that keeps us from loving our neighbors more fully. Fear isolates us and divides us. Fear can ruin even the most sacred moments. Next time you find yourself in a sacred place, like a soaring Spanish cathedral or a simple conversation, be still. Release your fear. Calm the storm within. Have faith in the people around you, even if you've been taught they're scary, even if you've been told to hide your belongings, even if they're a stranger in a strange land. Fear is the polar opposite of faith. Fear can ruin even the most sacred moments. Have faith. Here's a short blessing. Loving God all around us and within us. Release us from fear. Help us realize the sacred now that rests beneath the lie of the scary other. Steady our souls. Give us faith. Bring us back to each other. Amen. Hey, Between is about you. Take this message into your life this week and fill the space between you and every person you encounter with your sacred light. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go with God's love and create the church between.